From Bears Last Stand to Saban's empire, we built the league, broke the mold, and rewrote the code. Crimson Tide, unstoppable, undeniable, untouchable. 7-9 champs, goal line stand. Barry Cross made Penn State fold their hand. Chile ran, Ogilvie danced. Sugar Bowl glory, banner advance. Ray Perkins brought Bennett's wrath. 3-time All-American cleared the path. Bill Curry's crew, Siren Stacy's fire. Deep steep crown, Crimson never tired. Gene Stallings, 9-2 reign. Teague stripped Miami, left them in pain. Jay Barker Lassick, Odin Tide. Langham locked down, Thorpe took flight. And we're nothing but a winner. The best to ever do it. Crimson Tide rolls deep. No one can outdo it. Built for the lights, bred for the fight. We don't chase greatness, we define it right. Saban touchdown, turned fire to flame. 6 rings later, they chant his name. And Graham ran wild, first Heisman won. 2009 Texas came undone.
And just in case you missed Around the Herd a few Tuesdays ago, here's what you missed.
Limited personnel and a quote QB. He just couldn't move like he used to. Man, Ben used to just take people and slap him like it was Thanos. Dare you come and try to place pressure on me? I'm Big Ben. Big Ben started looking like Big Ben Gay back there after a while. It was ugly. Y'all remember Ben? 3 years before he retired, Ben, he had to keep his arm like this because of something happened to him on the field. It had a stick up under and everything. This is what he did. And they brought that man back for additional 2 years. I was like, this is crazy. I love my Steelers though, but that was crazy. Now, inside the league, even with mixed results, Klemm's NFL experience and teaching ability, it kept him high in demand, leading directly to his Oregon position and, Patriot opportunities. Man, when he was at Oregon, he had the role of associate head coach, offensive line coach, run game coordinator under Dan Lanning. Klemm was there for 1 year before leaving for the Patriots. Mama called you got to run sometimes. But that 1 year was loud. Oregon finished number 1 in the nation in sacks allowed, and that's what I'm talking about. We need that. We need that. And I'm still going somewhere. But before I do, I got a couple comments out here. He said, how much? Don't you worry about how much. Thank you for dropping in. And then it said, still, don't sound like the O-line. Yeah, it wasn't his fault, man. It's a team thing, but it's like I think he's still more of a college guy based on his background and his experience. Because whatever he could do in college, I think he's one of the people that can teach it. And they're gonna listen because he got them championship rings. What a man saying, water boy, don't mess with the champ. But you gotta listen to the champ. Officer, get DC's country. Anyway, one of my favorite lines, favorite movies. So he finished number 1 in the nation. They gave up I saw a couple different numbers. It was like between 5 and 9 sacks the whole year. Now I know that was the Pac-12. I don't care though. I don't know, even as weird as defenses were over in the Pac-12, I know the SEC is better, but was the SEC 3 times better? Because Alabama gave up the whole season 32 sacks. So if it was 9, these notes are saying 5 to 7. 7 times 3 is 20. SEC was not 3 times better than the SEC, maybe 2.5. Yeah, SEC was probably 250% better than Pac-12, but not 3. I mean, that's elite, high-powered protection. And then if you get the players from the SEC, teach them to do the same thing, or tell this one he can't do it. They got to figure it out and not be rotating 8 people because you don't know what you need. I ain't seeing it yet. Man, we're going to the Tennessee game. What you mean you don't see? Better get you some glasses. Anyway, and also, this is one of the great Bo Nix, right on time, DC. This is one of the great Bo Nix. He was able to complete 71% of his passes, 3,593 yards, He took 5 sacks. I think the other quarterback took some more sacks. A ridiculous combination of volume, efficiency, and protection. And we need all that. We need all that. And I'm going to look at this a little later and show you what the impact could have been if this man got here a year earlier. Now, his rushing offense, their run game was explosive. For their league, they had multiple backs averaging over 5 yards to carry. And you know, Bo Nix will up jump the boogie and get up out of there himself. Now, the Ducks offense ranked them on the top teams nationally, as they always have. Ever since I started hearing about the Ducks, they always have a good offense. But the Ducks ranked top that year in scoring and total offense, and with the offensive line widely credited as the engine of the operation. Like I tell people all the time, this is why it's so important. You want better defensive line play, you got to get better offensive line. We got to control the clock. I don't think great defense is not to be played for like a whole doggone game. There gonna be some games you get into some pickles, but you're not supposed to stay there all dang night. Now, Dan Lanley publicly called Klemm one of the very best offensive line coaches in the country. That's high praise, praising his NFL experience and his West Coast recruiting chops. When Klemm left, Oregon observers pointed to his departure for a major factor in the offensive line's subsequent drop-off. They ain't had that boot up in their bookie. He had the magic boot. And that's always a good sign for a coach when you know how valuable he is. Now, Alabama could be the same way in 4 years, but that's why you get assistant offensive line coaches to sit there, one of them write down while one of them watching, and they, what is he doing? What does he say? Okay, we need to, you got to copy everything down. And then at the level Oregon, he went to New England in 2023 as offensive line coach there. The Patriots offense struggled in overall. They had QB instability. Was that Mac Jones? That ain't good. Scheme issues. I think they got rid of their coach pretty quick. But Klemm gained more NFL reps coaching under this intense scrutiny. I watched those games. They were indeed horrible. But not in the Super Bowl. They still cheat? Anyway, allegedly. Now, they have problems with protection and run game consistency. Now, this is what I'm thinking, though. Maybe pros just ain't his thing because, like I said, that thing can get sketchy. Sometimes, and it just gets it's different in the pros. They got different hierarchies. Where out here, you're the offensive line coach, you're given full responsibility, and sometimes they give you added responsibility, make you the run game coordinator. I mean, I am going to tell y'all how we can best run the ball with these guys. You want to do toe sweeps, you want to do jet sweeps, these ain't your guys for that. You want to run straight through the A to B gap 80% of the time, I got you. That's a run game coordinator. Why would I tell you to run the ball somewhere that Proctor can't get to? No, that's not what he need to be doing. But coaching in, that kind of a storm, like I said, it does harden you. It makes you refine your skills. Like I said, the things in the NFL haven't been that great, but things in college have been wonderful, if you ask me, based on what I've saw. So, and then he went over to the USC. Won't go too deep on that. At USC, he switched over to the defense side. This is a man that's definitely getting himself ready to do something bigger and better in his life. He was the senior defensive analyst with USC in 2025, trying to give him a different vantage point. And, they let him, see what you look at the ball from a different side. How are you getting ready for my offensive line? So I like that. But he spent a year there, and that means he's trying to get ready to be a head coach somewhere. I don't know. He may end up as the head coach of Tuskegee University, my alma mater. Anyway, and of course, he's hired with us right now. So he's going to be coming in, offensive line coach, replacing Chris Kapilovic, who has been entered into the coaching portal, better known as the unemployment line, momentarily. Kalen DeBoer gets a coach that's done it in the NFL, dominated at Oregon, and recruited at an elite level at UCLA. He's coming to Tuscaloosa with 3 Super Bowl championships, widely respected as a technician and recruiter, and fresh off of leading one of the best pass pro units in college football, that being at Oregon. Swagger factor of this guy, man. This is not a safe hire. It's an aggressive hire. It's an aggressive move to put a proven person in that trench, you know, to create us some monsters in that trench. He's in charge of protecting the Tide quarterback and unlocking his run game. I mean, I told you, I've seen the running back stop, but when there's no hole, or you're watching the butts, if you're the running back, you're watching these folks' butt, right? But if that butt is not where you think it should be, I guess you won't just plunge in that hole if you think that butt's supposed to be turned this way and that butt's supposed to. I don't know.
Pause. Dear God.
We need to emphasize what this guy should be looking at so this guy can run just with no. Everybody's not Derrick Henry folks just gonna plow into it and keep going, or Bo Scarborough. Some folks, they see it all week. They expect it to kind of look like that later, but I don't know. It's like catastrophe the whole season, and it really was a big drop off in the sacks and everything because of Jalen Milroe. So it even looks worse. Jalen would get out the pocket. He took enough sacks, but this thing they did, the Tide was kind of that's wide open, man. 32 sacks, that's a lot. Now, this is where we're not playing around. Bama went got a 3-time Super Bowl champ, and they got somebody who really knows how to mold college trenches. Now, everybody was talking Sam Pittman. I understand he's not doing well, he's not in the best of health. He is a man of a certain age. I still say they bring him in as a consultant and let him, in SEC, you just can't say motherfunker. You got to say the whole word. It really helps. It's a great motivating tool. So what I started to look at, I wanted to look at 2024. Now, this is when you just start doing too much in this whole AI space thing. 2025 Alabama versus 2024 Oregon. Like, what did the numbers look like? In the regular season, like I said, we allowed 25 sacks. They allowed like 11 based on my research in 2024. A difference of, 15. 2.4 sacks per game is what we gave up. What that is that's like 2.5 drive stoppers, really. That's what that is. Oregon was at 0.84. I mean, they probably lost a drive a game just based off sacks, while we're losing almost 3. Alabama, according to some accounts, I guess Pro Football Focus looks at this. I couldn't find this number for Oregon. Alabama allowed 183 pressures. That's 183 times where your quarterback is rattled. They're estimating that Oregon had about 80 or 90 of those. That's a big difference. That's if your quarterback is throwing for 65%, that's a difference of 100. That's 70-something completions that could have been made. I know this is some far-fetched stuff, but this is how my mind works. I started this channel to let it out. But 14.1 pressures a game as opposed to like 6 or 7, it means a lot. Now, the passing numbers between those two programs ended up pretty close. 263 to 279. It's only 16 per game difference. Now, the rushing game is atrocious. I mean, Alabama is atrocious. We were right at it's depending on if you're looking at all 15 games or if you're looking at just the regular season, but it was bad. Oregon's at 157. Alabama was at 126. And a lot of that is quarterback scramble and jet sweeps, very little from the running backs, which is where you would love to have all 126 from 2 backs, but that ain't what we did. 3.35 yards per carry. That high-powered 2024 team at Oregon, 4.4. 1 yard. It is truly a game of inches. Game of inches. Now, total offense is a difference of about 70 yards per game, 367, 437, if these numbers are correct, because I was pulling them from different places because I really just didn't trust the numbers. But just to give you an idea of where it is. So then I went further, said, how would Alabama football have fared if the guy that was at Oregon in 2024 was coaching at Alabama in 2025? I said, what does that look like? Projected sacks. Alabama allowed 32 sacks. Just based on the numbers and the things that happened at Oregon, and taking into account, like I said, the toughness of the SEC, the computers, the numbers, I know we talk about analytics. It says that Alabama may have given up 14 of 16 sacks. Even if that's wrong, let's say 20%. That's almost 20 sacks as opposed to 32. Huh? Who don't want 32? Who wouldn't? I take, as bad as we were, I'll take that. That's a 50% improvement based on the basic number. And you got to adjust it for ACC defense. They're going to get after you. But is the SEC 3 times better than the Pac-12 was? I don't know about 3, but 2.5. Okay. So that's why I said they came in at 18, still almost half of what we gave up. That changes your whole offensive identity just in that one number by itself. Like I said, those are drive stoppers. That keeps you from getting first downs and it puts your defense back on the field. Projected pressures allowed. We allowed 183. The computers think we would allow 95 to 110. Raise your hand if you want some of that. Another 40 to 50% reduction. I don't know what the coach was doing over there. I'm just saying, if that's possible at Oregon, some of that's possible at the Capstone, at Alabama. But we wasn't getting that kind of coaching. I don't know. Was he recruiting too much? I don't know. This is where Klemm's technique and teaching shows up instantly and stuff like that. Oh, no. This one right here, yeah, you want to just pull him by his face mask a little bit. I don't know what they teach him. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at numbers. I like looking at numbers. Projected pass increase. I had to play with these numbers a lot, but they think we'll go from 240, 260, wherever we were. It'll go up to about 280 or 295. Because what? He's going to complete more passes, even if they are 7-yard passes. You're going to complete, you're going to throw 10, you're going to complete another 6 or 7 of them. That's a 40 to 50-yard bump directly that's tied to protection. I haven't even got to the running game. Think about it. Haven't even got to the running game. That would turn the Tide into like an offensive vertical threat. They have to blitz 6 people every play to their own demise because we still gonna get them. Now we go to the rushing game. Alabama could go from, this is gonna sound crazy, from like wherever we were, we're gonna go up to somewhere between 160 to 180 yards rushing per game. I have some things that, some numbers that came up higher, but we're still looking at like a 40-yard increase in rushing. This is averaging, because the average goes up against East Carolina, it goes down against Georgia. It is what it is. But if you're looking at 40 extra yards per game, especially if it's from the running back, with better execution of combo blocks and all that, just a more consistent push. And how many times on short yardage did we go in there and just throw the ball? That was terrible. Now, the projected total offense is likely to go up from the 367 where we were into 420, 440 range. Almost a 50 to 75 yard increase. And that puts you in high playoff caliber territory. Now, we made the playoffs without all this, by the way. But they didn't deserve it. Too bad, it's over with. We lost. Let's move on. But with this guy on the team, if he's able to do what he's already done on the college level, we go from being just in the playoffs and being, competitive or a challenge to being dangerous and unavoidable. Now, here was a big number. With all this said, if all these projections were to go the right way, because he gets the right lineman, I think we got like 19 of them, and we find out which ones can play, who's going to be the backup, and we keep this thing rolling in 1 year. Now, this is what it's saying. With the fewer sacks, more sustained drives, more explosive plays, Alabama in 2025 would have had an additional 1 to 2 wins. So that means the record would have been 13-2. The question is, will we have lost to Florida State and Oklahoma, which I think everybody would take, or would we have lost to, let's say, Georgia in the SEC championship, and then like, I don't know, Indiana in the finals. Because this pretty much says what I wanted to say. Tie 11 wins next year. Not so, but we can get 11 wins. Because games like, the 2025 with FSU and other late season scares that we had for some of these teams, it would have been much improved in the trenches. Klemm doesn't need to just fix the line. He needs to, change this. He can change the art of the trajectory of the whole season. Just everything changes. So Alabama's 2025 offensive line, it wasn't just off. It was costing us. It was costing the Tide too much. It was costing us first downs, drives, points, and games. And when you look at Oregon's 2024, it shows what a high-functioning, well-coached line can do. Clean pockets, violent run fits, and a QB who looks like he's playing 7-on-7. He's just standing back there, like he just picked the ball up off the chair, and he's just standing there. They got to blitz him to make Bo Nix move, and then you got Austin McAkeelan Russell just running for additional 50 yards a game. It's a different conference. I understand that, but that is still the goal. So you plug Klemm into Tuscaloosa with SEC talent. The math says that we make jumps all over the place in every statistical category. Cut these sacks out, you get more completions per game, more yards per rush, all that stuff, and possibly win 1 or 2 more games. Possibly those games are in the regular season. Can this man help us to become 11-1 next year? It sure sounds like it. This is a program level upgrade. This is not somebody just coming to do, we need somebody to coach. No. This is carefully thought out and researched. And the bottom line is this: if Alabama gives Klemm the bodies, and we will, we already got them waiting on them. This is the kind of hire that turns a good offense into you're not surviving 4 quarters with us. Coming up, is it going to be full of like experienced people? Is it going to be a bunch of the people that transferred in? Oh man, it's going to be some exciting stuff. But that's all I got for this evening, folks. Always remember, in everything you do, I don't care how it goes, always remember, roll, tide,